Hey everybody, my name is Ryan and I am a entrepreneur, I'm a business owner in direct response marketing. I am also a father, father of three. I'm married, been married for since 2006. So we're coming along, almost 20 years now. So I think about, where I was when I was 23. And I was in a different position. I was a personal trainer at a gym, maybe a couple years into my career actually. I was in sales because I sold training. But if I was 23 years old, or if I was younger, just getting started, I had no idea that this is what I was going to do. I had a picture in my head. I was sold this idea of producing a product and selling, creating a product online and just selling it online, right? It could be a digital product, it can be a physical product, and then using sales copy and just learning how to build an audience through selling products online. And I just learned copy, I learned marketing. It's something I've always been interested in. But like the thing that I'm doing now, which is pretty much in the email space or learning how to manage email and copy stuff, like I don't email copy. I didn't know I was going to actually end up here. It is sort of fascinating. Like even my business partner with the list management business, like he didn't know he was going to start a list management agency. He was good at managing lists. He wanted to focus on building his own products, right? He was good at this skill that people were asking him to do. He didn't want to do it. I stepped into the picture. I took it over. And then he says, hey, I got another list. Do you want to manage that? So like the reality is I had no idea that what I'm doing right now that has gotten me to the financial success that I am, I had no idea I was going to get here. I mean, this is the funny. I remember the first conversation I had. He already made $1 million and he's done really well. And this is what he told me when I first started learning this skill of managing email lists. He said, "Follow the money." So it's one of those things where that's really what it is. Follow the money. Maybe you want to follow your passion, right? Maybe you want to do something that's not money related. It just depends on how. It depends. At the end of the day, it just really kind of comes down to what's most important to you, right? So to me, one of my biggest influences was the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And then many of the books in that similar space of entrepreneurship have always been around that. And because of that, I wanted to find a way to have work freedom or life freedom. I wanted to work from anywhere in the world, which interestingly enough is basically easy to do now. You can work anywhere from the world now because of the way the internet's set up. But back then remote work was not quite typical, right? And when I really got into it and really started learning about marketing and stuff like that, I didn't know what I was doing. I just had a sales job and I worked, I worked in my career. I climbed up the ladder and I became a manager but I still did some stuff on the side. I read lots of books and I read a lot of audiobooks and listened to a bunch of things and I bought courses. You kind of have to know yourself to some degree to what it is that you like, what you don't like, and what's important to you. You don't have to be super specific of what industry, but one thing I do know for sure is that I did not want to do anything boring, right? I cannot stand being bored, right? I cannot stand doing something repetitive. I cannot stand, that is just mind numbing. I can't stand it, So when I thought about it, it's it'd be cool to be a personal trainer, or I remember before when I was younger, I would draw. Or I like to write stories or would write. Those were the things that I like to do. They were art-like. And so I'm truly mostly a creative at heart. So, or at least I started that way. But really the thing that kind of a special skill that I actually do have that a lot of people that are creative like me that they don't have is I'm incredibly analytical, right? I love data. I love it. I can just look at spreadsheets all day, make decisions based on data. It's the funnest thing in the world. So I kind of, and what I learned when I got into email list management and I learned about this stuff and I started connecting with people, I used to talk to other copywriters or other people in the business and I would show them my spreadsheet and I would talk to, or other affiliate managers and they would just look at this thing and be like, this thing is overwhelming, and I'm thinking this is the most amazing thing in the world, right? This tells you all the answers. Right. And so it's kind of that's what I like to do. Right. So looking at data is a really important skill that I've developed. I just wanted to get rich. Right. Make a lot of money. Yeah. Right. And you know what? And that dream didn't. I joined network marketing and I joined a couple of pyramid scams and whatever you want to call them. I tried a little of those and then I just tried all kinds of things. And I always worked my job as a personal trainer and I just kept trying stuff until I found something where I can find the right mentors, the right group of people that could guide me to where it was. And what ended up happening is I learned about copywriting, and copywriting was sort of the thing that set me free. And here's another thing too, like I'll tell you right now, this is how I guess I'm learning it as I kind of talk it out. The way I found out what I was going to do was learning out what actually copywriting is. Once I learned what copywriting is, it kind of opened up my world. Like I remember, like, because when you watch a movie or you watch, when you watch a movie, it's basically like copy. Like it's words put together in a story to make you watch the whole thing through. In this case, you're watching it for entertainment. For sales copy, you're getting them to watch the whole thing through so they buy. I did sales, like I was really good at service. Like I could train people, but having high amounts of contact with people just wasn't my thing. It still isn't my thing. But even then, you look at this, I have a business, I have a large team. I deal with other people on a regular basis. When I was in high school, I was a magician. I did a lot of card tricks for people. I loved doing that, even though I didn't like doing it, if that makes sense. Like there is a lot of things, and I also like talking in front of the camera, like making content. I really enjoy. Right? There's something about this that I want to do, yet I don't like to interact with people, right? Or I'm very introverted. have a fair amount of high social anxiety. Mm-hmm. So being able to find the thing, I guess this answers the other question too, like more about like what got me into this thing was like, I wanted to find a way where I could sit behind a computer and then have to talk to people. I mean, really that was most of the goal. Right? Like having to talk to people and having to connect with people I just didn't like doing. I mean, I understand that it has to be done, but I'm just like, that's 100% like the motivation. And then the second thing was I had a little small goal. Okay, making millions of dollars doesn't look like it's in the cards and looks impossible, because, I've been working on my job as a trainer for like over a decade. And, it's been tough trying, especially after the financial crisis. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can make $50,000 a year US, $50,000 a year working 20 hours a week. Because at the time I was making about that much, but working 50 to 60 hours a week. So in my head, I was thinking, what if I can somehow just remove my time from my pay, right? So like, it's not even really about being rich. It's actually really about having time. And the reality is when you have time, you do the things that you really want to do. And I was thinking like, if I can make 50, if I can make the same income I was basically making working half the time, if I wanted to, I can work double the amount and make twice as much, right? The second thing I could do is I could just be there and I could be home with my family because I had 3 kids at the time. And it was kind of like I had no health insurance, and it was, I was already in my early 30s, and I was kind of like, I need to sort of wake up.